everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stampin'. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. We are going to work with another one of the online exclusive suites, and this designer series paper really does all of the work. And this particular pack of paper is called, I have to check because it is new, and I want to make sure that I get the right name, and I think it's called you can never get something to come out when you need it to. This one is Season of Green and Gold. And it is definitely a season of green and gold because that's what this paper is all very beautiful. Greenery and gold and vanilla. It is a beautiful pack of paper. And there was only 3 packs of Christmas paper in the online exclusives that were released in July. So I did get them all. And the other one is this really soft, beautiful vellum. And it is equally beautiful. But it's all just pieces of vellum. This one looks like almost like snow. And then we have some greenery. Let's see, let's get this back over here. We have this beautiful greenery. I'm going to just go ahead and pull this all out. This one is called Graceful Greenery Vellum. And as you can see, you get 2 sheets of each design. And look how beautiful that is. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous pack of beautiful, beautiful paper. And we are going to use a little bit of both of these today to recreate the card that you just saw. So I know we're going to need this piece. So I'm going to put that out of my folder. And we are also going to need this piece. Isn't that gorgeous? Just so pretty. So I'm going to lay those over to the side. We're also going to be using this piece here. So I'll pull that out as well. Let's see, we might have a scrap in here that we might be able to get our piece from. And I believe that will work. So I'm going to lay that one up there. We're also going to be working with some green, and I chose the Mossy Meadow. So I have a sheet of Mossy Meadow cardstock and a sheet of Very Vanilla. And what we're going to do, we're going to start off like we always do. We're going to cut our card base. So the card base is a little different than what we normally do because this is going to be a sort of a specialty type gatefold card. So let's roll this over. I need my trusty trimmer. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this piece of cardstock down to 10, and I'll tell you what, let's do it this way first. We're going to cut it at 5.5. So I'm going to line it up to my 5.5 mark and slice that off. Then I'm going to turn it this way and I'm going to bring it over to 10 3/4. So 1/4 inch away from being the 11-inch side or the 11-inch length. So what it's going to amount to is we're going to take 1/4 inch off of this end. So this means that our piece is now 10 3/4 by 5.5. And we got to do some little fancy footwork on our scoreboard. Y'all know I like to score on my scoreboard. So I'm going to bring it up. And I'm going to lay this in on the 10 3/4 inch side. And we're going to do some scoring. Our first one, I always make my notes on a piece of, on the card base. This is just something that I do. I also write out my paper notes. So I have that all right here. So we're going to score at 1 5/8. And don't be afraid of eighths because 4/8 is a half and 5/8 is 1 tick mark over. So if you're not sure about it, you can count your marks in between. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be 1 5/8. So I'm going to use my round one. So I'm going to hold it down very close to the paper because I don't want it to jump the tray. Oh, and it jumped anyway. Let's try that again. Okay, there we go. Then we're going to go to 3 1/4. And that's going to be right there. Then we're going to jump over to 7 1/2. And then 9 1/8. So 1/8 is going to be that first one on the scoreboard. So this is all the scoring we need to do. So we can get our scoreboard out of our way. And then what we're going to do is on that second score line, we're going to fold it into the card. This is a good time to grab your bone folder and give that a good crease. And then we're going to fold this one back to us and get that a nice crease. And we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to fold it in and crease, and then fold that out. And so the next thing that we need to cut is we need to cut 4 panels for here, 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 and here. And that's going to be cut from our designer series paper, this beautiful green and gold. And these pieces need to be 1 1/2 by 5 3/8. So all we're going to do is put this into our trimmer at 1 1/2. So 1 1/2, just like that. Make sure it's lined up top to bottom. And cut that off. And we're going to do one more at 1 1/2. Now we can cut these, and I'm going to put them together and cut them both at the same time. You don't have to do that if you feel like you might get off, but I think you can do this. This is not thick paper. So we're going to go to 5 3/8. So 1/8, 2/8, and 3/8. And I'm going to slice, and then I'm going to do the same thing again, making sure these are together, and go to 5, 1, 2, and 3. And then you got these 2 little pieces left over as far as scraps go, and I'll throw that in my scrap bin. And we have our 4 pieces now for our panels. So we've got that done. Now we're going to pull in our piece of mossy meadows. And for that, we're going to need 3 pieces cut. We're going to need this mat behind this piece, the mat behind this, and the mat for inside. So for the mossy meadow, we need 2 7/8. So I'm going to put this in like this and go to 2 7/8. It'll be right there. And we're going to cut it at 3 7/8. So again, we're going to come to 3, go all the way over almost to the 4. And that will be our left panel. Then we need to do our right panel. The right one is going to be 2 3/8. So 2 1, 2, 3/8. 3 3/8. So 3, 1, 2, and 3. Just always count when you're doing in eighths. It's so simple and easy to do. So now we have our panel for the left and the right. So we'll lay those right there. Now we need to cut some designer series paper that's going to go over those. And the large one, we're going to use this beautiful vanilla and gold. And you can see that piece is already the width it needs to be. We need to cut the length. So for this one, it is going to be 2 3/4. So that's perfect by 3 3/4. So we'll cut that off right there. And then this will mat perfectly on this piece with just that tiny bit of border showing around the edges. Isn't that pretty? Then we're going to cut the piece that's going to go on the smaller piece. And that piece we're going to cut from our vellum. And because I'd already cut the width once, I had pieces that were already, so it would be 2 1/4. So if we put this at 2 1/4, that's what that piece is, by 3 1/4. So line it up to 3 1/4 and cut a slice. And then this is going to mat over top of this piece, and it just looks very snowy and just beautiful piece of paper. Now we need to do our center, and our center piece, if the green, is going to be 3 1/2. So let's bring over our scrap with Mossy Meadow. And this is going to be 3 1/2 by 4 1/2. So now we're going to need to cut this piece. Center, very vanilla, 3 1/4. We've got 4 1/4. And this is going to be the piece we're going to stamp on. And that's going to center right over this. And it will go in the center of our card. Now, I think all of our pieces have been cut except our die cuts. And we're going to do that right now. So I'm going to take this piece of green that I have left over. And I'm going to take my dies because we're going to use our Spotlight on Nature. And from the green, we're going to use this one right here. And we're also going to do some greenery. So I'm going to see if I can get some of this cut out of this. I'm going to probably need 2 or 3 sprigs of this. Let's see if we can get one right there. I think that just might fit enough that we can get our pieces cut. So I'm going to come in right here and put a post-it flag over that and over that, and then we're going to run that through our machine. Also have this small piece that we're going to do in the very vanilla. And we just need a little tiny piece for it. So I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut that piece off like that. And now we have this piece ready to go in. So now we can pull our die cuts up. And you might be asking, where did I get the greenery from? That is from the Golden Greenery die set. And it is one of the new online exclusives for our Christmas time. And it has a stamp set as well. This is a stamp set, Golden Greenery. And you can stamp out these beautiful images and then put them on your card. It's so, so pretty. So we're going to be doing some stamping with that in just a minute. So I'm going to bring up my stamp and cut and emboss machine. And let's grab our plates. Line up my plates like this. And then we can cover and then crank them through and get all these die cuts at one time. I might do a little bit more greenery than I did on my prototype. Let's see, another piece of green. So we just may run that through another time. So let's take this one off. This way to get them out is just to drop them. We'll clean that out after we get the next one cut. I think I want to do the small one. So here's our circle. And then we have this one, and this is what we're going to stamp our sentiment on. And that's going to go right there. My greenery there. And let's see if we can do this one piece. One more piece of the greenery. So I'm just going to crank this back through this way. All right, so I've got all of my greenery cut. I have my circles cut, and we are ready now to do our stamping. And then once we get our stamping done, the card will be ready for us to start putting it together. I'm going to go off camera and pull my inks and load up my stamp blocks and clean out my little pieces and get all the little tidbits that need to fall out, get those all cleaned out, and we'll be right back. Okay, now we have everything together and we're ready to go ahead and do our stamping. So I've got both of my mats. I've got my pieces here that go on my side panels. And this is our center where we're going to be doing our stamping. So I'm going to take it off of the mat, and I'm just going to lay that there. And we are going to stamp, and I'm going to use Old Olive. This paper has a lot of different colors in it, so you could get away with any shade of green that you like. I think the Old Olive is going to work really well for this. So I'm using this image, and I'm just going to ink it up. And I'm going to stamp it right in the middle, sort of like this. And see, it's a nice faint color, and that's what we want. So I'm going to close up my Old Olive, and then I'm going to grab the VersaFine. And again, I always tell you this is not a Stampin' Up! Ink. The VersaFine is in my Craft Room Favorites on my Amazon store, and there's links for it if you're interested in it, or you could use the Memento, whichever you prefer. I like this because it's a nice dark pigment. It's a pigment ink rather than a dye ink. And it always gives you a beautiful, rich color on your piece. So we are going to stamp this just like that. And see how pretty that is? You can see the Merry Christmas over top of our greenery. All right, so now we can move those inks out of our way. We do need one more. I'm going to grab the Mossy Meadow, and we are going to stamp our front sentiment on this little small circle that we cut. And that is going to be love and joy. So I'm going to ink that up. And then we're going to stamp it right in the center. Just like that. Now we have finished all of our stamping. We've done all of our die cutting. So now we can go ahead and put our card together. And that's always the most fun part. So close up my ink. The first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and center this on the front of that little circle, just like that. So, and to do that, I'm just going to use some liquid glue. So I want a little wiggle room in case I need to move this around. Just like that. And we're going to just center it right in the middle. Like that. I'm going to turn it over and give it a rub. And now that is positioned. The next thing I have is my greenery, but we're going to wait and put these on after we decide where we're going to put that. So let's go ahead and put our card together next. And to do that, we're going to take our middle section. This is going to go inside this portion of our card. So I'm going to take liquid glue. I like my liquid glue because when I'm dealing with small borders, the liquid glue allows me that wiggle room that I need to get everything lined up nice and straight. So I'm going to put that down like so. If you need to pull it a little bit, just tug on it a little bit and let it slide where in place. Now that's ready to go on the inside of our card. So we can place this right inside like that. And you want to kind of center it up. So again, I'm going to use my liquid glue. And I'm going to turn it because I seem like I do better if I turn sideways like this. And then I'm looking from this side to the score mark and from that side to the score mark, and then top and bottom. And that looks pretty good. So I'm going to give it a press. Again, I'm going to turn it over and rub it on the back side. Now we can go ahead and put our panels on our 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's why we cut 4 of these. So I am going to lay them out like this. That's so pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? I love the way that looks. All right, so I'm going to start and I'm just going to work my way across. And this is so easy to do. And it just gives the card a beautiful look. And this foil paper is gorgeous. So I'm going to lay that in like that. Slide it up just a little bit. And then give it a press. And we're going to do the same thing with this one. And lay that down just like that. Give it a press. And then we're going to come over here. Let's move our greenery back up there. And then this one is going to go right here. This is a card that you could do in, sort of mass produce because you could cut all your pieces and have them stacked and then just put them together. So if you wanted to use this like for your signature card this Christmas, and you could do it in so many different colors. So it is a great option. And I'm going to revisit this card again once I make my pre-order out of the new mini catalog with all of our beautiful Christmas stuff. I want to do one because I really want some red. And I may even incorporate a little red on this one. Yeah, because I think it's screaming for some red. Let's see, that is over just a little bit more. Let's look that up. Over just a hair. Just like that. Now we have these other pieces. Now this piece, we're going to put that beautiful gold on this mossy meadow. And again, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to use some liquid glue. And I'm going to position this. Now this has a really tiny 1/8 of an inch border, so Those can be a little bit tricky, but just, practice makes perfect. So put it down, give it a press, and there we go. This one is going to go on this side about there. You want maybe about a half an inch at the top and about a half an inch on the side. And we're only going to put glue on the section right here. So I'm holding my thumb there. That lets me know that I only want the glue to be on this side. Turn it over, position it over and down. Like that. You give it a press, hold it. You can always set a stamp pad or something on it. With this piece, because this is vellum and you can see through the vellum, we want to very strategically put our adhesive on the back of this where we know it's going to be covered. So we know that this is going to go right here. So I know I can run some adhesive this way. These are going to come in and run down the middle like this. So this one's going to be right there, and this one here, and this one here. So you can see we could do a strip all the way down on this piece of vellum, and we will be able to cover it up. So I'm going to turn it over, and I know that I can go from here to about here. So I'm going to take my Stampin' Seal, and I'm just going to run a piece like that. And that is going to hide it so nobody will know that it's there once we get this put together. So I'm going to tuck that in and give that a press. Now you can see how you can see it through the paper. See what I mean? Let me turn my light back on. Yeah, you can see it better with the other light on. So, but we know that we can take care of that. But now when we put this one on, we want this one to sit up just a little bit above the other one. So we are going to run Stampin' Dimensionals right down the side. So I know they need to go right there. I'm going to grab my dimensionals and I am going to put them right over on this edge, all the way down. And I think I'm going to do about 4. That way they'll kind of evenly distributed. And let's grab our Take Your Pick tool and just go ahead and pull these off. And now this piece is going to go, you want it to be down and over about to there, up just a hair. And press it down. Now, by putting those dimensionals on there, it gives you that room where this panel can slide on top of that panel. And that's what gives us that beautiful look on this card. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to group my greenery. And I'm just going to take some glue and I'm going to stick these together, like something like that, and just kind of let them hang off in that direction. And I want to make sure that they're coming down that center so that we don't see them. See, that needs to come in just a little bit like that. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We are going to take that center one and put a little glue right here on the top. And we're going to set this one right down the center. That way we know that's going to cover. Then we're going to take this one and we're going to position it right there. So again, I'm just going to put glue on the back of it, right here at the top of that stem. And then I'm going to lay it down like that. Then I'm going to do the same thing with this one. A little bit of glue right up in here, just like that. And set this one down like so. Then when we're ready to put this on, this can sit over top of them, just like that. But we're going to also use a little bit of red just to kind of pop everything. So what I want to do is put some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of this. And I know that I only want them on this side right here. So again, I will grab my Stampin' Dimensionals. Let me look at that again. Okay, I only want them here, here. If you do kind of a half a moon on that side, see what I mean about a half moon? It's just kind of arched on that side. That should give you exactly what you need. So let's pull those off. And then holding your card down and together, because you want to make sure this is nice and straight. And you want to make sure, and we want to come down a little bit because we want those dimensionals to cover. Just like that. Look back at the back of it and make sure everything is good, and it is. And that is what this card is going to look like. But I'm also going to grab some of the gems. These are the Cherry Cobbler and Pearled Adhesive Back Berries. They are gorgeous. And this is in the online exclusives as well. And we are going to, let's take this grouping. And let's put these right there. And I'm going to take another grouping of the clear ones, and let's put them right here. And maybe another grouping of the clear. These are so pretty. And we'll do those right about there. That gives us that little spark of color that just adds a little something extra to our card. Now we also need to do our bow. So I am going to grab my satin ribbon. This is so pretty. It's just very soft and satiny ribbon. You can see the sheen that it has. And I am going to tie a very simple bunny ear bow. And I want it to be small. So I'm going to do my loops fairly little. I'll tell you what, we'll make them a little bit bigger and then we'll tighten them up. That usually gives us a little bit better chance of getting this tied correctly. So let's pull that through the loop. Like that. Once you get your loop over, then you can actually pull it and tighten that down, and then you can adjust your loops. Something like that. So I'm going to grab my ribbon scissors, and I'm going to cut this off right here. And this one may be right about here. And what a cute little bow that makes. And we can put this right up here. I normally I would have put it here, but I don't want to cover up my gems. So I'm going to stick it right here on the top. I'm going to tighten this up a little bit more. Maybe make my loops a little tiny smaller. And I am going to try cutting these again. Let me grab these scissors. I think these might give me a little bit better cut. And I got static because the ribbon is wanting to cling to me. So let's cut this off right about here. And then this little bow is going to go right there. And I'm going to put that down with a couple of glue dots. And the reason I'm going to use two is our knot is kind of big. And I just want to make sure that it stays in position. If you mail this card, just remember you're going to have some extra texture on it. So you may need to add a little extra postage. So this is going to go right out there, just like that. And how pretty did that card turn out? I mean, it is definitely mantle worthy. And when you put it on the mantle, it's going to look like this. Isn't that gorgeous? I love the way this turned out. And if I had some red and green paper, for me, that would have made it absolutely perfect. But you can see everything slides in just like that, because we have that little lift on this piece that just tucks right up underneath there, and it makes a beautiful, beautiful Christmas card. Thanks so much for tuning in today. If you're interested in any of the products that I used in today's video, the list will be on the PDF tutorial that's on my blog. So when you finish watching the video, go down right below the video in the description, and it'll say show more. Click on the drop down, and when you go down, it will have a link from my blog. Go there and then scroll down till you see the picture of this card. Under that, you'll have a link that says click here for the free PDF tutorial, and you click on that link and it will take you to the page. You can print that out or save it to your computer. It is a free gift from me to you with a special thanks for watching my videos. And I hope that you would reproduce my cards. So if you do, make sure to post them over on our Facebook group. That's also a link for that below the video as well. God bless and keep you. And as I always say in closing, let everything that you do and say bring honor and glory to our Savior Jesus. He is worthy. So until next time, God bless and keep you. Bye-bye.